Hello, kindred spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and together we are going to be dipping our toes into your creative gifts and seeing what magic lies within them. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back as always to any of my kindred spirits who are here with us and anyone new who may be joining us here today. It's wonderful as always to have you guys here. Today we are going to be playing around with some more creative gifts. I have been loving doing more of these creative based tarot readings, and if you guys have been enjoying them, please let me know. I love to hear your feedback. I also have been asking the piles what your favorite color is, so feel free to let me know that down below. Mine is personally either green or blue or teal, somewhere in there. But we are going to be looking at a lot of colors today. We're going to be playing around with more than just fine art creativity. So even if you're not a fine artist, this still applies. And even if you're not super spiritual or magic inclined, this still applies, right? Feel free to see what comes through with the piles and leave what really doesn't resonate with you, taking what really does. We're going to look at each of the piles here in a moment, but if you're interested in looking deeper into your creative magic, deeper into relationships, into your career, or any other questions or queries on your mind, definitely feel free to check out these snail mail readings that I offer, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter from the 1970s. It's wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and it's a wonderful way to get a little bit of creative magic in the mail just for you on looking into any question or query on your mind. So if you're interested in those, all of the information will be down below, as well as on my Instagram with helpful reviews. You can even ask me any questions that you have about them by sending me a DM there or an email, which I have listed down below. But with that all said, let's go ahead and look at these piles. So for each of the piles here today, instead of doing crayons like I normally do, today we're actually looking at some tubes of paint, because I just got some new tubes of paint in the mail to kind of reuse, or to refill up rather, my watercolor set. So I thought, why not use them for you all today? They're so cute and adorable. So here for pile number 1, we have this color of turquoise. So if you're feeling called to this color, then that might be the pile for you with pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, we have the color of orange, also known as cadmium orange hue, if you want to be specific. So if you're feeling called to this orange hue, then this is possibly the pile for you with pile number 2. And last but not least here for pile number 3, you have the color of, it's slippery this one, the color of permanent rose with this sort of pinkish hue. So if you're feeling called to this one, then pile 3 might be the one for you. So before you start heading off to the timestamps, I like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath with me so you can connect with your intuition, connect with your creative guides, connect with any of the energies coming through from the piles and see which one is for you. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there's no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile, change your mind. You can take bits and pieces from each. There really are no rules here. All of the timestamps are down below in the description alongside the chapter marks of this video. And if you're curious to see how I use my creativity, I have an entire grimoire video tour that you can check out right now. That will be up here at the top. Otherwise, you can also check out more videos on pick a card videos and charm casting and things like that. And if you're interested in seeing more of my creativity, I do a lot more of it over on my Instagram, so feel free to check that out as well. But with that all said, let's go ahead and get started here with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose the color turquoise, then this is the pile for you, so we can really look into the creative magic that you might be swirling in right now, what creative gifts are coming forward for you, and also maybe gifts to focus on at this time. We're also going to see if you have any creative blocks or other things coming in that we can discuss using the charms, using several different oracle decks and tarot decks, and the main deck that I'm going to be really playing around with here is from Art Magic This is not sponsored. I just absolutely love this deck, and I like to let other people know that it exists. So we're going to be using Art Magic. Everything else I'll have listed down below in the description in case you're curious to see what decks and supplies we use here today. But we're going to get right on into it because I've been buzzing to do this reading all day. I got some new watercolors in. I've been in my creative element. So I really want to see what creative element is coming forward for you. Literally, there could be an element. So we're going to see. Definitely feel free to get yourself cozy, send in your own energy, really connect with the cards, and let's see what creative gifts are coming forward for you, Group 1. Group 1, creative gifts and magic coming through for Group 1 here. So first off, you've got this very blue, swirly, sparkly card. It's almost making me think of a little mermaid, so I am curious to see how that connects. And I'm honestly feeling this card that was on the bottom as well. So I'm going to take both of them. Lots of sparkles, like there's something about needing to shine or like shining light on something keeps coming forward already just from the sparkly colors that are coming forward. There's sparkles on most of the cards, but this one feels super saturated, so I'm feeling very connected for you all for that one. Let's pull one more and then we'll discuss the cards. So Group 1, creative gifts, magical power. What do we got here? And another super sparkly card with these crystals showing up at the bottom. So feel free to just take a moment and look at each of the backs of these cards. See if you see anything in them that's sparking interest. We've got like little tendrils of solar flames, and then we've got like this more watery card with that mermaid tail. Almost looks like the start of a whale. And then I'm also looking at this one with some bugs and almost like a whipping dragon tail, maybe some crystals here. So we're going to see how that all connects, but let's go ahead and look at each of them. So to first start you off, we have the change the game card. So we're going to read through each of these individually, but I'll go ahead and let you have a little look here if you want to read it yourself first. This one's got sort of a very interesting character showing up here. They look like both a centaur and a unicorn mixed together, so they're really changing the game. And because this one had like the most saturated or the most like popping out sparkles, I'm really feeling that shining light on this card. So we're going to keep this one in a highlighted position. You also have Incubate Dreams. Ooh, this one's in the water element, and this one is in the fire element. And as always, you can read this if you'd like. And we've got this sort of little dragon, nurturing a little dragon egg here. And then, to see your final one, we have Flow. Lovely. A lovely little ray. And this one actually does have a bit of a mermaid or mer creature here. So that definitely is coming forward. There's obviously a fantastical element to these cards naturally based off the doodles and the illustrations. But what I find interesting is all of them are holding something. In this case, they're holding like a little potion bottle or globe. This one, they are nurturing and holding onto this egg. And in this one, they're holding onto a scroll. So there's something showing up here with your magic and your creativity coming through in a way where you really want to hold it up. You want to shine light on it. It doesn't really matter what it is, but there is this feeling that you are at the beginning, possibly especially with this Incubate Dreams, an egg being the very beginning of something. You might be at the very beginning, the precipice of starting some new skill, interest, hobby, project, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is, but you're being told to kind of use your creativity to shine light on your gifts, on what it is that you are creating, and sharing it with others, or sharing it more openly, right? Being more open about your creativity, being more open about your interests, really putting a spotlight on them and allowing yourself to enjoy others enjoying your art, enjoying your creativity, enjoying your projects, enjoying your hobbies with you, rather than it being like a solo thing you do on your own. But that's just what I'm getting here from the start, this feeling of making it a more social element or shining light on it. But let's read through each of them together. So here first with the change the game one, it says, change is not only mandatory, it's thrilling. Shake it up. Spice up a stale or sluggish sphere of life with an art spell designed to change the game. Movement leads to momentum. Now is the time to nimbly move past obstacles, banish negativity, turn dead ends into wide open roads, and create your own luck. Ooh, that one gave me shivers. I love that card, especially next to this incubate dreams, because there's this feeling as well, not only to shine light on something, but like I said, you're at the beginning, or it's something you've started in the past. That might even give us another layer here. This might not be the first time you tried this hobby, the first time you've done this career path. This might not be the first time you've held this up and shined it to the light, but this is the first time that you're doing it in this way. You're doing a bit of creative problem solving, and I think your gifts are really coming in the form of allowing your creativity to flow in a way that is very unique to you. It's changing the game. So like say, like if we think of like social media, right? Everyone's got these trends and they've got these things and they're feeding the algorithm, and you're constantly trying to like, do what everyone else is doing. And that works, right? It does work. It generates clicks. It does what it needs to do. But you're adding a new element, right? It doesn't have to be social media, whatever it is, right? It could be carving canoes. I don't know. But whatever it is, you're changing the game, you're adding something new, you're adding a new flavor, you're adding a new color, you're adding a new spice, a little something new to shine to possibly even the community that this hobby or interest or project exists within, right? So there's something new happening there. Let's go ahead and see incubate dreams as well. So this one says here, nurture and guard your fledgling dreams with fierce love. Nourish your hopes and visions by keeping them close to your heart until they are ready to hatch in their full splendor. Pay attention to your nighttime dreams as they are littered with jewels of guidance for speedily bringing your waking dreams to life. Ooh, kind of a magical element there. You might also find that both your daydreams and your actual dreams at night might influence a lot of your magic and where your creativity lends itself to. Maybe you don't give enough credit to the mindless shower thoughts that you have, or like when you have you ever had a dream where you come up with an idea or problem solve something through your dreams? That might be where your creative problem solving kind of comes into play. Maybe you're a type of person who has a really hard time figuring something out. Then you let yourself sleep, let yourself rest, and you find that through a dream, you actually solve the problem, or you figure out a solution, or you come up with a new way in which to approach the problem at large. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting here from incubate dreams, alongside it being, again, changing the game and doing something different for maybe the first time. Flow is an interesting one because this one feels very different from the other two. These feel very intrinsic and very connected, where this one feels slightly removed. So I'm very curious to see why that is. This is also in the water element. So you have two water elements and a fire. So it says here, flow. Wade into the stream of flow, Art Witch, invoke relaxed concentration to wholly immerse yourself in the moment. Make your magic a moving meditation. Banish distractions to fully experience the energized flow state, and allow the current to carry you into fresh, intriguing territory. So even reading that, nothing was really standing out to me. So this might be where your block is. This might be where your creative block is right now, where you have, like I said, you maybe problem solve while you're sleeping, when you're resting and you're taking some time to do so, but maybe you're only allowing yourself to problem solve and figure things out through sleep, and not allowing yourself to really flow in the moment, or allowing yourself to kind of like change your mind in the moment. Maybe you're more particular, want things to go in a very specific way, a specific order, and having spontaneity come in to play, I feel like, is something that maybe you have a more difficult time connecting with when it comes to your creativity. So I want to see a little bit more. So we're going to pull a couple of tarot cards to just see if there's any more to look into or any blocks to look into as well. So group 1 here. Any creative blocks, any other information you need to know, or that is surfacing. And you also had one flip in here. Okay, so we have the 7 of Cups, interesting next to flow, and the Moon, which is all about your dreams. It's all about the illusions. It's all about that liminal, magical space. So I really feel like maybe the way that you're changing the game, you could literally be more of an art witch kind of person, and you're changing the game in that you're taking something that's very mundane, or it's something that seems just very removed from a spiritual place, and maybe adding spirituality to it, maybe adding and sprinkling it in. That might be for a few of you. Otherwise, like I said, dreams are really important. They're very intrinsic to your creativity and how your creative ideas flow. Like if you're a writer, right, sometimes you come up with characters in your dreams, or certain flavors to scenes that you might be creating if you're like a movie maker or a filmmaker. Regardless, I think listening to the moon cycles and your own personal cycles could be really important. But the moon cycles, if you don't work with them, it might be something to consider when it comes to your art magic and more of your spiritual practice. Otherwise, like I said, dreams, illusions, working in a liminal space, maybe even working with sort of lucid dreaming or meditation could be another place for you to maybe flow into your creativity a little bit more. Because the 7 of Cups is showcasing that you have more options than you think you do to change the game, to spice up your creativity. And the 7 of Cups, as you can see, they're diving down deep into this vast ocean to find these cups. And they think that they can only take one because they're going to run out of air. Fair enough, right? But what they forget is that they can dive more than once. They can go down and keep diving and keep grabbing and keep looking and keep searching and exploring more than once. And the fact that you, like I said, are changing the game or starting something for either the first time or maybe restarting something that you're revisiting kind of really connects with this card and the idea that you can flow a lot more, that you have more options than you think when it comes to how you can flow into your creativity and get more in a flow state. And also that there are more options for you to play around with your creativity, right? Maybe you've only ever been super creative in one aspect, in one hobby, in one interest. But you want to change the game either in that specific interest by maybe just literally changing a color, using a different texture, a different medium, technology, whatever it might be. Or it could just be that you want to explore a lot of different options instead of feeling pigeonholed into one. Regardless, I think you have a lot more potential than you are giving yourself credit for, and a lot more flow, and a lot more especially since you have so many water cards here. Like there's like I can't come up with the word. It literally is how it feels, is that I can't come up with the word, is that your creativity is much more slippery. It's a lot more difficult to catch and put into a box than you maybe are realizing. And I think you're kind of on that early precipice of opening the box and realizing how much more is inside. So that's kind of how I'm feeling here. There's a lot to explore for you all. Let's get a little bit more information, and then we'll pull some charms as well. If you're enjoying the reading so far, definitely be sure to give this video a like and let me know in the comments down below. Always curious. Let me know maybe like your favorite color or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. But let's see what else you have coming in. Okay, so 2 cards. The Seer. Ooh, you guys have a lot more spiritual cards coming forward than these first three are giving you credit for. So I really feel like some of you are much more spiritually religious or more magically inclined, whatever it might be, than you maybe realize, or that the cards are really showing off here with the seer coming forward, intuition, divination, foresight. The fact that you have dreams and liminal spaces, you've got sort of more of this mystical seer coming forward, is just giving me this feeling that there's, especially since you got twine here, I just noticed I was just about to say that you could twine things together. Must have been noticing it in my own subconscious over here too, or in my peripheral vision. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more ways to marry your mundane life with your spiritual life, with your creativity, and mixing those all together in a big melting pot than maybe you realize at this moment. You also have, like I said, with twine, the two of thread, agreement, symbiosis, and compromise. So if I had any advice for you right now, just from coming from these cards, is to just explore more, to play, to allow yourself to flow into things that you didn't think you'd like, allowing yourself to try on different hats, and that your creativity kind of feels a little bit maybe pigeonholed or starved right now. Like if you imagine your creativity as a person, they are just so ready for something new. They're so bored, or they're just so like stuck in the same over and over and over, and they really want to change things up. The cycle is turning, things are shifting. They're ready to see more. And that's kind of where I feel like your creative gifts are at like this precipice of opening up. I think that you have a lot of potential to see where it might lead. So let's go ahead and pull you a few charms to finish off your reading real quick, and we'll see what they have to say. Okay, interesting. Okay, so let's have a little look here. I'll zoom you in so you can see a little bit more. So this flow is definitely in a place of feeling very blocked, because you do have here the charm that I call kind of the ugly charm, the charm where you're like, ugh, I don't want to look at that. I don't really like that. Ugh, it's not something that I do. You know, there's this immediate wall that's coming up here from this charm. So getting more in the flow state outside of your dreams, outside of your box, I think is really important, because you feel very tied to starting something new, for sure, but not maybe necessarily knowing where to start, because you do have the snowflake charm, which showcases kind of two different things. This one's been really beaten up, but this snowflake usually represents something being frozen, kind of held back for a while. And the fact that it fell on the cycles, again, a need for things to move, for a cycle to start moving instead of staying in the same, is going to bring about new, unique ideas, just like a unique snowflake. Also falling on that game changer card as well, or change the game. And then you also have the broken record, which means it's something that has, again, been repeating on repeat. So I won't go over that too much more here, because that's been coming forward for quite a few of the cards and charms. And then here on the seer, you got the universe charm. So the universe is in your hands. There's so much potential. There's so much more to learn and to enjoy and to look into and to open your mind to than I think you realize, because right now you're on that precipice. You're just starting, dipping your toes. So I'm very curious to see where this leads you to as you explore it, as the boxes open and open and open. I would love to hear down below. But if you did enjoy this reading, definitely be sure to give this video a like. Let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in more art magic or creativity, definitely feel free to check out my grimoire tour, looking through my grimoire. And I also do a lot of videos for pick a card readings as well as charm casting that you might really enjoy. So definitely feel free to subscribe. And if you're interested in getting your own snail mail reading sent to you in the mail, typewritten on a vintage typewriter, on any question or query on your mind, then definitely feel free to check out all the information down below and on my Instagram, or feel free to send any questions that you have my way. With that all said, I'm going to go ahead and end your reading here, but thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you decide to choose this cadmium orange hue, then this is the pile for you, where we're going to be looking into any creative blocks that you've got going on right now, any advice coming in from any spirit guides that you have, but also to look into the creative gifts that you really hold right now. I feel like we go through cycles with our creative gifts, and they can change in and out and swap and move and change as we do. So these are always fun to do, to see and just check in with you to see what might be changing. We're going to be doing that with the charms, as well as several different oracle decks and tarot decks. I'll have all of it listed down below in the description as always. And I like to just shout out, not sponsored, I just absolutely love Molly Roberts, and just wanted to shout out that we're going to be mostly using the Art Magic deck here, an inspiration deck for creativity by Molly Roberts, and just wanted to shout it out because it's so good, and it's going to be the main deck that we're using here today. So if anyone was curious, that is what we're using. So feel free to get yourself cozy, get yourself settled, get some water, a snack, whatever you'd like. And as always, we're just going to dive right in. So let's see, group 2, what creative gifts are coming forward for you right now? The ones coming to the surface, the ones to focus on for you right now. Kind of feeling this one, but I want to look further. So group 2, other creative gifts coming forward for group 2 today. Group 2, creative gifts coming forward here for group 2. So you've got a lot of very cool tones, cool colors, literally cool. You guys just feel very cool. Maybe you guys are super into fashion, or you're into trends or things like that, but immediately I just got this like, ooh, you're so cool. So anyway, with that said, I just like to look at the backs of the cards here, see if we get anything from them, see if you guys notice anything. We've got this little moth, I believe, or some sort of bug here, this little flying winged bug. Moths have a lot of connection to like the moon and to our subconscious mind, so we'll see if that continues to trend with the cards. We'll reveal them in a moment. You also have some like dancing crystals, these crystals that are sort of strung from the air here, and then some interesting tendrils, so we'll see what that's about. Lots of ink blots as well, and this one's quite open to interpretation. There's not much going on here, to be honest, so kind of curious. These ones might be feeling more linked because of those links there, so we'll see, but let's reveal them. So first off, you have one from the ethereal suit, or the etheric suit. You could also see this as the spirit element, and it's coming forward with desire. Very, very fun. Desire with this little phoenix here. In case you want to read through it yourself, here is the card, but we will be reading through it in a moment. You also have, ancestral connection as well. The fact that you got a spirit element and then a water element with ancestral connection, you might have some really deep roots in your ancestral line, in your lineage, or just with people that are very close to you, that you consider family, or really deep friendships and intimate friendships that kind of branch off your creativity or help to create that connection. Something like that's coming forward with ancestral connections. You have that there, and all these really interesting sort of altar figures. And then here or spirit figures, and then here at the end you have record your journey. Ooh, this one hasn't really come up very much, but it is in the air element with record your journey, and then there's this little sort of grimoire, book of shadows, book of light energy coming forward from that one. So, immediately very interesting, very spiritual right off the bat. So some of you might actually be practitioners. You might find yourself actually practicing art magic for a few of you. It does not have to be that for everyone. Some of you just might find that your art or your creativity, whether it's for magic, whether it's for working with crayons, whether it's, like I said in pile number 1, carving canoes, or doing math, whatever and however you use your creativity in your life, it may be connected to your lineage in some way. So maybe a lot of your creative gifts have been given to you through your genes and passed down through generations, or it could be passed down through knowledge that you've learned from wonderful mentors and people that you see as very close friends, or people that you really connect with and see as family, that have created these really strong roots in however it is that you use your creativity, and they are a beautiful support system for you when it comes to connecting with them. So even if they're beyond the veil, even if they have passed, even if you only connect with them through spiritual connection and more spiritual ways, regardless, that is really heavily coming forward for your pile. But before we really dive into everything that I'm seeing in connections, let's go ahead and read through each of them real quick. So here we are first with desire from the spirit element. What plucks and sounds the strings of your secret self? What gives your heart a genuinely succulent thrill? The hint here is authentic desires are free of shoulds. Desires are seeds of creation. Conjure art to clarify or embody your most dynamic and fulfilling desires. Give interests and longings permission to bloom and perfume your ambitions. I love that statement. Authentic desires are free of shoulds, right? It's not something you should do. If you're desiring to do it, you want to do it. It's something you desire to do, not because of an obligation to family, not because of an obligation to a past version of yourself. None of that, right? This is showcasing that your desires are hugely linked to the interests and the way in which your creativity manifests itself. You might be a person who takes up a ton of hobbies. You might be the kind of person who just has a billion interests. Or if you have that one interest, you dive deep, right? You aren't just doing it because you have to do it for school or for some sort of project, or because, your boss needs you to learn about this thing or whatever it is. You do it because I think a lot of your creativity comes through education and knowledge and learning, especially since you have Record Your Journey here too, which we'll be reading here in a moment. But let's start first with ancestral connection. So it says here, you are held by an ancient net of ancestral aid. Exploring ancestral connections offers a bounty of understanding, personal power, healing, and restoration. Honor connections with elders of family lineage, vocation, teachers, mentors, spiritual traditions, and ancestors of place. Meditate on ways you can be an excellent ancestor and bestow blessings on future generations. That's interesting too. You might find that your creativity rests in the desire to do better for your family, for the people who look up to you. Right? There could be a connection there too, that a lot of your creativity is sparked by the need, or rather the want and desire to make things better, make the world a little bit better of a place too. You might be more of an activist as well. I could see even a little bit of that, some sort of social justice in relation to your creativity and creative problem solving. But then you have Record Your Journey, and the fact that we had that feeling that you dive deep into projects or deep into interests definitely makes sense. Maybe you're the kind of person who takes field notes, or you take a ton of notes, or you really just want to dive deep and learn and read about the subject and, look at forums and just get really deep. That's another way in which your creativity can truly spark and bloom. But let's see, Record Your Journey here. It says, your story is worth telling, Art Witch. Record your discoveries and quests in a journal, grimoire, or scrapbook. Approach your grimoire as a living document that is equal parts archive, trusted confidant, or confident, and playground. Be generous with your book and luxuriate in the privacy of its pages. So this one definitely has more of the artsy witch feeling towards it, but I'm really getting more of like a Fields note, like literally a notebook that just gets mucked about, sits in your pocket, gets gum on it, like it's been chewed up by your dog, right? It's been with you. It's always with you, whether that's your notes app, whether it's a journal, a planner, a diary, whatever it might be. But I think that you being able to either physically or type up your notes, type up your creative ideas, and let those continue to create connections for you and to kind of further your desire, almost like a family tree. Like that's what I'm imagining. Like you have this interest that leads to this interest that branches off and branches off. I just keep seeing these branches. So I think your creativity works really well with like brain maps or branching things out or working in some sort of network. Regardless, that's kind of the energy I'm just getting off your main cards here. But obviously I want to look a little bit further. I would also say, as advice here, if you don't already record a lot of your creativity, your creative ideas, or use writing or notes or digital apps for note-taking as a way to further your creativity, I think you should definitely look into it, because I think that's going to really jumpstart a lot more of your desires and jumpstart more of your projects in a really wonderful, connective way. But let's look a little bit further with a few tarot cards and see what else they might be showing us for any creative blocks that you have coming in here or other things to consider. Ooh, this takes me back. This takes me back to the very beginning when I said that some of you might be more of like cool, right? You're very fashiony. You're very like, there's this feeling that you like ooze coolness. I don't know how else to explain it. But whether you know it or not, there's people in your community who really look up to you and think of you as someone who doesn't necessarily know everything, but that your perspective on life, your perspective on creativity, your perspective on these interests and desires that they connect with you with, just are really fresh, and they add a new perspective that they really like, and that makes you feel really cool, and that makes them feel really cool in just being in your circle. Something like that is coming forward from this Fool. And this also is a card of sometimes being a little bit foolish, sometimes, diving into the deep end, falling off the cliff, that kind of feeling. But I think that you following your desires are, again, very much connected to some sort of lineage or, again, those brain maps, those connections. Because if you look at this card, you can see almost a silhouette of the same person's face being, silhouetted into the clouds, looking towards the sun. So when I see this card, it kind of feels like, again, you're not a copy of the gifts that were given to you down, lineage or through your ancestry or through the people and mentors around you, but I do think they've had a huge influence on you in some way, and in the way in which your magic and your creativity blossom and bloom around you, and the way that you also continue to give back to your community, continue to give back to your loved ones and family in the same way through your creativity. Like I was talking about before, people really look up to you and they see you as very cool, and almost it's giving me like that edgy aunt, you know what I mean? Like the aunt that like is just too cool. That's the feeling that I'm getting here. So let's go ahead and see any others coming forward. Group 2. Okay, and you also have Strength. Strength is a really wonderful card to come through when it comes to seeing somebody's gifts, because Strength is showcasing that you have a gentleness, a generosity to share your gifts for sure, but also that in doing so, it takes a little bit of bravery to share a piece of yourself. When we record our journey, when we write in our diary, right, that's a way for us to put things down and then close the book and not let anyone else see it. But there's something about you that feels much more open, much more I think your creativity flows better in a community or in a environment in which you can sit together with another person, silently create together, or, be in a big room where you guys create and come up with different team building ideas, or if it's through your work, right, it's in meetings and things like that. I just feel like your strength is that you're not too afraid to share a little bit more of your vulnerable, more interesting, eccentric ideas and unique ideas coming forward in your unique ways in which your creativity comes forward. But I want to look further even more, so we're going to pull some more cards, of course. If you are enjoying this reading so far, though, definitely be sure to give this video a like. Really helps the algorithm, things like that, and I really appreciate it. But we're going to look at the rest of your cards, and then we'll pull some charms as well. So group 2, anything else coming forward for it? Creative gifts, advice even, coming forward for group 2. Group 2. Goodness, they're just flying out for you all. Let's first see what you have here. So you have the antagonist, as well as the moon showing up here, which I find is really interesting because this specific moon card is showcasing more of that book energy. That book is not closed. That book is open and sharing all of the information inside, and not in a way that they feel frantic, in a way that they feel like they are holding up the moon in doing so. So there could be a lot of weight in being able to share your gifts and share your creativity. Maybe there's a lot of pressure possibly from doing so, right? Even sharing videos with you all here, there's pressure to make sure that they look nice and that I choose the crystals good and that my intuition is flowing and things like that. So as much as I enjoy doing what I do here, it does have that element of pressure, and I'm kind of feeling that here, but it feels like a healthy amount. It feels like, right, it doesn't feel too overwhelming, although it does go through its phases. So I think your creativity is allowed to dip in and out as well, and I think sometimes you can be a little bit hard on yourself, maybe because your creativity is intertwined with your job or intertwined with your finances or things like that, or with your community and people who look up to you. But regardless, I think that it's okay for you to go through your own phases, and that your strength isn't always going to be at 100% or full moon. Here as well with the antagonist, it says opposition. Oh my gosh, I can't say the word today. Opposition, deceit, and malice. With this one, what I really like about it is that they are upside down and sort of facing away from us, showcasing again that sometimes you need just a little bit of time, and maybe when you're taking time away, you feel like you are going to lose your magical spark, you're going to lose your connection, you're going to lose part of your community or lose those connections to your creativity. But again, these cycles are important. That's coming forward a lot, is that it's okay. You're allowed to take a bit of time off, to step back a little bit, and that your creativity and the inspiration that you bring to others is going to shine through in those times when you need a little bit of space, right? And that I think sometimes you might feel like you are the bad guy or you're a bad person by stepping back. But I really do feel like it is the opposite here, and that it is totally okay, and if anything, necessary and helpful when it comes to the health of your creativity. So that's really what we're getting here just from the cards, but of course I want to pull some charms. We're going to see what they have to say. So let's pull a few for you. Okay, so they're all falling in the center here. So it just feels like they're all connected to each of the cards. So the ones that you have here, the one that really caught my eye when I need to really fix up this charm, but it's the headphones charm. It's been through quite a little beating here, but the headphones and the fact that it has ancestral connection and this feeling of, again, feeling maybe like down on yourself or putting a lot of pressure on yourself. I feel like ancestors and others are really good either with mentors, family members, right, loved ones, however you feel this ancestral connection connects to or who it connects to. Regardless, I feel like they are somebody who are, or some buddies who are here to support you and to remind you to really listen to them when things get a little bit crazy, when things get a little bit mingled, things get a little bit more tough, where you feel more of that pressure, to lean on them and to remind yourself that they have gone through that too, especially if it's ancestors in your past. And just to remind yourself that you know, they went through their bouts. They didn't always have things figured out. And it's only in hindsight that you realize some of those things, or realize just how much strength you have, or how things can bloom in unlikely places, especially since you got the blooming charm here too. It also is falling on all of these really beautiful pages coming forward with this element of air sort of showing up with the feather here. The feather kind of reminding me of a quill, like again, wanting to write things down. But it also makes me think too, to let things sort of flow, put things out into the universe. Maybe you write on a blog, maybe you share online, maybe you share at an art gallery, maybe you share your ideas in a meeting at work, whatever it might be. It's just to remind you to continue to share your ideas, even if they're not in full bloom, even if they're not perfectly figured out. I think that it's important for you to continue to just put things out there, see what happens, see what sticks and see what doesn't, and try not to take anything too personally there or beat yourself up about it too much. So overall, those are all of the cards and charms that I have here for you. I do hope that this has been useful and helpful in understanding more of your creativity, where it might come from, stem from, and what might be useful to you when it comes to connecting with your creativity. If you did enjoy this, definitely be sure, like I said, to give this video a like, and let me know in the comments down below, like your favorite color or the way that you use creativity in your life. Do you carve canoes? Are you interested in writing a blog? Things like that I would love to hear as a creative person myself. And also, if you're interested in more creative videos, such as a whole grimoire tour or looking into charm casting, then definitely feel free to check out the videos already on my channel, or to see the pick a card readings that I put out most every Monday on this channel by subscribing. And if you want to look even further into your creative magic, or looking further into more of your creative gifts or other questions and queries about your life on your mind, then definitely feel free to check out the snail mail readings that I have down below for information. There's also more on my Instagram, and you're always welcome to ask questions to me through an email or DM. But these ones are great because I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter just for you, wax sealed for your eyes only, on any question or query on your mind. So if you're interested in those creative little gifts to send to you, then definitely feel free to check them out down below. There's also the Kindred tip jar if you want to send anything there. All of it goes right back into the channel for decks and supplies and equipment. And everything else that I do will be on my Instagram down below. So thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose the color here of Permanent Rose, then this is the pile for you, so we can really look and explore your creative gifts, any creative blocks that you might be having, how they are connected to your everyday life, and anything else that might just show up as we go through the reading. We're going to be doing so with the charms as well as oracle and tarot decks. I'll have all of it listed down below in the description in case you're curious what we use here today. But the main deck that we're going to be using, always not sponsored, I just love Molly's stuff, is Art Magick. So if you're interested in looking more into her new book that just came out or things like that, just a quick shout out because I love her stuff. So like I said, we're going to be using Art Magick here today. This is a more magically inclined deck, so if you're not really interested in spirituality or magic or things like that, or art magic specifically, that's totally okay. You're welcome to just use your own intuition or pull specific keywords out for yourself. But we're going to be just playing around with these today. So feel free to get yourself cozy, get yourself settled, get some water, a nice snack, and let's get right into it. Group 3 here. What do you got coming in for your creative gifts and how they might be shifting or changing from ones you've maybe seen in previous videos with me? So group 3 here. Group 3, your creative gifts. Quite a few keep trying to sort of catch my eye as I'm shuffling, but we'll see. Ooh, I love that you got this card. You'll know why when I reveal it. So group 3, what else do you have coming in here? Group 3 for you. We'll reveal each of these cards in a moment. But wanted to see them at just their face value, or their back sides of the cards here first. So just looking at the backs of the cards, let's just take a moment, look into them. What colors are coming out? What feelings do they evoke? Immediately, obviously, we've got a lot of greens and blues, which are very calming, very grounding colors. And then you've got this like psychedelic kind of moth hanging out here with this very violet, bright purple, indigo kind of feeling. So that's kind of what we're getting here just from the imagery. You also have here one of the element cards. So you actually have a little bowl here showcasing the element of earth. And then you have crystals and sparkles, and this reminds me of like the shallow parts of a beach when you can still see the sand. That's what I'm getting here from this one. So we'll see if that connects or does not as we move forward, but let's reveal each. So first off, you have one of my favorite cards in the deck, the Awaken the Art Witch. So I said at the very beginning, some of you might not be artists, you might not see yourself as a fine artist, which is totally fine, totally okay. I've used this example for all of the other piles, but maybe you're interested in tech stuff. Maybe you're more of a mathematician. Maybe you're interested in carving canoes or robotics or something else, right? It doesn't have to be fine art where the art witch can come forward, but there is something kind of witchy, spiritual coming forward for your specific cards. So we'll see what that has to do with as we move forward. This is also in the air element. We will be reading through this in a moment, but I just wanted to show it to you in case you wanted to read through it yourself. You also have, like I said, a very special card where you actually got the card of unlocking a certain element. So not only are you awakening the art witch and sort of unlocking a spiritual element to your creativity, but on top of that, it's going to be very connected to the earth element. So we'll read through that one in a moment as well. I'll go ahead and hold it up so you can kind of read through it yourself. But we'll read through it together here in a moment. And then you have make a mandala. This is sort of a suggestion. I'm going to look at it more loosely than literally, as mandalas have a lot to do with cycles and looking and focusing. So we're going to see how that connects. But we have these 3 cards. Ooh! I already really dig your guys' pile because I personally love working with the earth element and love doing witchy stuff with the earth. So the fact that you have all of that coming forward obviously makes my creativity get excited. You have 2 earth elements and then an air element showing up here. So just from the start, looking at these without actually reading through them, immediately I feel called to the idea that, again, you are getting into your creativity in a more spiritual, more religious, or more impactful way, like a way that feels deeper, more intimate, more like it has a deeper connection. You know, when you are just working on a project and it just feels like a very mundane thing that you do, and then you look back on it and you're like, wait, that was actually a really big moment in my life in hindsight, or that was a really big pivotal shift that happened there. That's the feeling that I'm getting here from you guys. Like, you have something that is shifting with your creativity, shifting the way that you use your creativity in a way that feels much more intimate, much more deep, much more connected to the spiritual realm than you maybe had in the past, which is very fun and exciting, especially as a tarot reader over here. Obviously, I'm all into the spiritual stuff. So that's just what I'm seeing from the start, but let's go ahead and explore each card individually here together. So first off, we have Awaken the Art Witch. Step up into your precious power and claim your creative magic with deliberate urgency. Liberate yourself from unhelpful stories and fear of your abilities right now. Devise a ritual to acknowledge and grow your power. Perform this ritual often to ignite your scintillating truth. Create your destiny. So again, obviously this actually talks about rituals and things that you can do, but that doesn't have to be your path. That doesn't have to be how your creativity is going to come forward. Like I said, I feel like you guys walk a lot of different paths in life and the way that your creativity comes forward, whether it's in the way that we typically think of it with fine art or something completely different. But creativity is something we all use. And so the fact that you have the Awaken the Art Witch coming forward, and the idea that you're really igniting something new inside you, more spiritually, that's mostly what I'm getting from this card. Whether you actually make a ritual out of it or not is up to you. Whether you actually acknowledge it and notice it is up to you. But like I said, it feels like most of you are going to notice this in hindsight. So we'll see as we go forward. The fact that you also got Unlock the Earth element tells me that this could be connected to something that is in your career path. The Earth element has a lot to do with our career, has a lot to do with our finances, the way that we make money. So it could be related to how you are connecting both your spirituality, your creativity, and your career in like one little piece of the puzzle, or in one little package here. But here we go. Unlock the earth, or the element of earth, the body, nourishment, resources, and fertility. The qualities of the earth element are growth, stability, abundance, sensuality, luxury, beauty, comfort, sustenance, protection, grounding, and manifestation. The expressions of earth are plant life, ground-dwelling creatures, mountains, crystals, stones, salt, roots, forests, canyons, caves, gardens, homes, feasting, and gnomes and the fae. The media that comes forward, so different tools that you might use, especially in a more art witchy sense of traditional elements here, are clay, stone, wood, seeds, leather, cement, mud, chalk, coins, edible supplies, egg tempera, bone, wheat paste, and natural pigments. And tools that you might find yourself using are carving tools, pottery wheels, mortar and pestles, bone fodders, and a trowel. So I actually got this feeling as I was reading more through this, that some of you might be eliciting a lot more of your creativity and using a lot more of your creativity in a, whether it's like a plant-based diet, whether it's gardening, whether it's going on forest walks or foraging things, learning more about connecting with the earth on a very literal level. Or because you did have coins come forward in this too. Like I said, it could be very much connected to your creativity being intrinsically connected to your career or the way in which you make money. That may be a side business that you're taking on right now, or it could be, like I said, something where you're kind of bridging the gap between spirituality, career, and so make a mandala. This is kind of a wild card over here. I'm not entirely sure what this one is speaking about, so let's go ahead and have a little look here and read through it. It says, make a mandala. Invite the golden glow of good fortune into your space with gratitude and robust appreciation. Carefully consider the fullness of all your blessings and envision radical new streams of prosperity for yourself and the community. Cook up nourishing expressions of comfort and bounty to welcome abundance into your home and heart. I hadn't noticed it until I just started reading. I was all like, I'm not sure how this connects. Oh my gosh, it totally makes sense. So if I was unsure before about the idea that it's connected to your career in some way, I am not really anymore. It doesn't have to be that for everyone, but for the majority of you, I'm really feeling that, especially since you can see this creature here holding a cornucopia full of abundance. And so the fact that you have abundance and the earth element really shining through, and the fact that you have awakening the art witch, some of you might be, again, marrying all those together into a new side gig that you're making a little bit of money from. Maybe you're a tarot reader, maybe you're doing art witchery, maybe you sell things that you create for fine art. Maybe, like I said, you're carving canoes. Who knows? But regardless, it's helping you to make money, and your creativity is actually a really wonderful way for you to bring in abundance for your home, for your family, for even maybe creating more ideas for yourself, and how those continue to build a really strong and beautiful foundation in your life that you can flourish with. So I think if you haven't been using your creativity a lot within your job or your career, this might be the time to consider it, because I think that there are wonderful ways that you maybe hadn't considered that your creativity could really be bringing in a bountiful harvest and abundance into your life, where you hadn't really considered it before. But of course, I want to look a little further, so let's pull a couple more cards. Group 3 here. Anything else coming through for group 3 on their creativity? Any blocks or messages that might be really useful for advice? Okay, so it looks like you have here the Morning, which is a very specific card to this deck, with the Morning showing up here, as well as the Four of Torches. The Four of Torches is one about kind of taking rest and allowing yourself to take a little bit of a rest when needed. Maybe that's because the earth element is coming forward so much with that feeling of the body and nourishment. It can also be telling you that you've maybe had an abundance of ideas and an abundance of things coming forward, an abundance of opportunities maybe coming forward for you to use your creativity in a way to create abundance and bring in prosperity in your life. But the Four of Torches is telling us here that you maybe need a little space, you may need a little bit of time to kind of come back to yourself, come back to your body, come back to your creativity in a way that is just for you for a little bit, or making sure that you toe that line between your creativity being only for your work life, right? You're only using your creativity for creating money or gaining money or using it in that way, rather than just for fun or just to nourish your body and your soul. So there's something coming forward with that as a bit of advice. But you also have here the Morning. So it also might be that your creativity manifests and comes forward the best in the morning. Maybe a lot of your ideas come from your dreams. Maybe you just feel super, pumped in the morning and you feel like your creativity flows best with sunlight on your side. Especially since you have so much coming forward here with the idea of working with the earth. Definitely makes sense that with the sun being out, a lot of the things that you might be getting creative with are going to work best when the sun is out and shining. So something about that is coming forward. I want to look a little further though. As I shuffle these though, do feel free to give this video a like if you'd like to, and you felt that this reading so far has been useful to you, as it really helps the algorithm and lets me know that you enjoyed the reading. But let's go ahead and see any further details for you. Group 3. Ooh, we got the book. Anything else coming forward for group 3? Ooh, and you also got the Five of Paper cut. Okay, interesting that you get the book with paper cut. It literally means Five of Paper cut, but for some reason I'm getting this feeling of like a literal paper cut. Especially it coming out next to that Four of Torches here is again making me feel like your creativity is something that you've got to nourish and make sure that you don't overdo it. I think it's very easy for you maybe to have your creative sort of meter to that the way in which you use your creativity. I feel like it's really easy to drain it, and so it's making sure to continue to nourish it, feed your creativity with ideas that are just for you, just for your soul, and not just to make money is really important. That's really what I'm getting here. But you also have the words here: loss, betrayal, and finality. So there could be something showcasing here too that you've been cutting ties with maybe the way in which you were using your creativity in the past. Maybe that's because, again, you're unlocking the earth element and wanting to use it in a new path and a new form to create money and abundance in your life, and you have to cut ties with maybe a past version of the way in which you used your creativity. Or, on second thought, this could also be the opposite way for a few of you. I feel like less than the majority here, but a few of you I'm feeling too that maybe you're just needing to cut ties entirely with the idea of using your creativity and your spirituality together with the earth element, with making money, because it's maybe not working out for you right now. So there's a little bit of that there, but the majority I'm feeling the opposite, where it just is like needing to cut ties with the things that are no longer giving you that excitement and stability and foundation that you're looking for to use your creativity to create more of a stable foundation for you to grow upon. Especially since you have the book here. The book has a lot to do with, creating a lot of pages in and creating chapters and moving through those. So, right, this is a very stable thing, right? It's not like a one-page thing. It's a whole novel. This is telling me that this is going to be a way in which you use your creativity for a while, and it could be something that could be very foundational to how you use your creativity and how your creativity gives back to you. Identity, consciousness, and manifest showed up here. You also had manifestation show up in the qualities of the earth element. So maybe even using paper, using books, learning more of how you might be able to use your interests in life to elevate your creativity could be really important, such as gaining more knowledge and skills in your creativity to help continue to grow that foundation of stability. Something like that might be coming forward as well. But I really feel like the charms have something to say. So let's go ahead and finish off with the charms. So group 3 here. Ooh, quite a few of them slide in everywhere, so I'm just gonna pick those up. But let's have a little look-see. So I was feeling like this book card was kind of showcasing that you had this new foundation of knowledge, right, that's really going to grow and give you like a really beautiful foundation. But I do think that it can be a little bit overwhelming because you have the overwhelm charm showing up here, or something feeling overly stretched. So making sure to take your time, right? The earth element is a slow-moving element, so your creativity does not need to move quickly and fast for a beautiful foundation to grow. So take your time, allow yourself to play around and see what comes through your creativity, and try not to just fly through it too fast, trying to like engulf information or fly through books or things that might be able to help you in your career or to grow in abundance. Just taking your time, things will manifest when they need to. You also have the Cancer charm showing up here as in the astrological sign of Cancer. So it could be that they are someone who really inspires you. There could be a Cancer in your life who maybe is an art witch who is inspiring you in their sun, moon, or rising. Otherwise, they have the imaginative keyword here. So it could also be that imagination is a huge part in how you connect with your creativity, which seems obvious, but isn't always for everyone, being able to connect with our younger selves and how we would imagine. The letter R also came forward here. So if you are wanting to figure out maybe who that might be, that's coming forward. You also have a little snake here. The snake feels like doubt, but I don't feel like the doubts in your work and your creativity are really coming forward heavily. It just kind of feels like it's just a reminder that even though it might seem silly to start some of these more spiritual practices and marrying them with your creative and career-driven goals, doesn't mean that they are silly or insignificant or something not to continue to follow. You also have the sparrow showing up here next to ground-dwelling creatures, stones and crystals, as well as forests. So maybe the earth is also a great way for you to just ground, literally going on a forest walk, literally going out into nature, taking your time to have a little picnic. That can make you feel a lot more free in your creativity and ground yourself again. In that same way that 4 of torches was showcasing needing a little bit of downtime. And to finish off, you have the abundant charm of resources showcasing up here with the 4 elements or 4 suits coming forward, kind of like the magician card. And the fact that you have so much abundance here with the earth element is telling me again that it's definitely on your side, and looking into the earth element, unlocking more of the earth element as a resource in your creative tool belt is something to really consider. Whether those are the supplies, whether it's the qualities that I mentioned, whether it's the plant life or the ways in which you want to connect more with forests and streams and things like that. Regardless, I feel like they are going to be wonderful resources to help you to not only create more magic, abundance, and fertility towards your prosperity in your life, but to also build really beautiful resources to build a long-standing foundation as well. So those are all of the charms and cards that I have here for you, group 3. Your cards kind of went for a fun little explorative ride, so maybe not everything fully connected with you, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Again, feel free to give this video a like if you did enjoy it. And if you want to see more on art magic, I have an entire grimoire tour that you're welcome to look at, or look deeper into charm casting with a master guide video on charm casting. And if you want to subscribe, I put out new videos every single Monday for pick a card readings that I think you'd really enjoy. Otherwise, if you want to look deeper into any of the cards that we had here or other questions and queries that have been on your mind, then definitely feel free to check out the snail mail tarot readings that I do, where I send a letter to you in the mail. It's typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, and they're very special creative gifts just for you. So feel free to check out all the information, helpful reviews, and things like that down below and through my link tree. And with that all said, thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.